Hey guys, this week we're visiting the holiday village of Kenton on Sea in the Eastern Cape, which is just about halfway between Port Elizabeth and East London. We're going to visit Sibuya Private Game Reserve and also go to a local favourite spot called Stanley's. Sibuya is without a doubt one of South Africa's most unique and absolute must-see safari destinations. The unique Sibuya experience starts from the reception in Kenton with a 45-minute boat trip up the Kariga estuary. This stunning game reserve is home to the Big Five as well as many other species of wildlife and is also a birding mecca with more than 400 recorded bird species.
Once we do get going, you're all welcome to take your masks off. As I said, it is just yourselves on the boat. I will keep mine on unless I am talking, so I'll be driving and talking. And with the engine and stuff, you won't really hear me. All right.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thanks,
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Their forest and river camps are luxurious eco-destinations run almost exclusively on solar power. Guests can relax here and enjoy the simplicity of life without Wi-Fi, hairdryers, etc. And if you really cannot live without your Wi-Fi and hairdryer, you can always opt to stay at the luxurious Bush Lodge, which has grid electricity and caters for these needs. Their delicious, freshly prepared and healthy buffet-style meals are served mostly al fresco or in one of the beautiful lapas. We are at the river camp at Sibuya Game Reserve, and I've got Chris here, who is one of the managers at Sibuya. Chris, we've been on a whirlwind tour. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you for having us.
Not a problem. It's lovely to have you guys here. Sorry it was a bit of a Ferrari safari, but I think we did pretty well out there on the game drive.
Absolutely, and saw so much. But first, I want to talk about the Sibuya experience for your guests. When a guest decides to come here, what is the type of experience that they can expect?
We're trying to do something different, and our main focus is the river. We're one of the few reserves in the whole of South Africa that has access to an estuary, and we use that to our best advantage. All of our guests arrive to the reserve via boat, and it's a nice hour boat cruise up the river. We have a wide variety of birds, nature, otters, your kingfishers can all be seen up the river, and even some of the Big Five. And then you get up to the lodge, and with our beautiful eco lodges and obviously the Big Five, it is something very, very unique to experience.
Absolutely, and I can vouch for that, guys. Now, I want to also talk about the lodges, because you've got 3 distinct lodges here. Can you just chat us through those lodges? And obviously, each of them have got a different, separate ambiance, feel, look, and yeah, just elaborate a bit on that.
No problem. As you mentioned, we are sitting here at River Camp, and our River Camp is a beautiful eco lodge. It's based here on the Kariga River. You can actually see the Oxbow Lake that sits here behind us as the river flows around both sides of us, which is so amazing. And it's a saltwater estuary, and it's tidal for up to 18 kilometers upriver. It's still salt water.
Wow.
So to have the lodge right here on this estuary and to focus on this as part of the character is all of the rooms are based on the river. You've got a river frontage, and the lodge itself is right there with the views and the decks, which allow access to fishing, canoeing, swimming in the river. So it is very, very focused on the river aspects.
Yes, yes, and it's beautiful. It really is. I mean, this is glamping on steroids, but yet an authentic bush feel.
No, of course, there is obviously a bit of glamping to it. You've got a lovely tent that you're able to sit in, and a bath that I can even stretch my legs out in.
Lovely.
Yeah, which goes a long, long way. But River Camp for us is also our family lodge, and we do really, really want to focus on the families and the children.
Yes.
So we do have a junior ranger program where the kids get to get quite involved with their ranger, and we set up little booklet, little games and things like that, just to keep the kids interesting, mostly focusing on the kids between 4 and up to about 8 years of age.
Brilliant.
And a game drive is long for them. So you want to have a bit more excitement than just the general, let's have a look at this and have a look at that. So it is always our focus is to keep the kids entertained. If you keep the kids entertained, mom and dad are happy. So it is a very, very important project for us down here at River Camp, is just as much focus on the children as it is on the adults.
Fantastic. Now, your junior ranger program, does that tie in also with a little information center that you've got here for the kiddies?
Correct. So the information center brings in a lot of the things that kids would never really get to handle before. Now, who has ever had the chance of actually standing next to an elephant skull, having their hands on a buffalo skull, all the other information that we're able to find out on the reserve? It's very hands-on for those kids that normally, especially if they're coming from the city or from overseas, coming from Germany, Netherlands, from England, they've never, number one, seen an elephant, let alone being able to stand next to a skull the same size as them.
Wow.
So it is a lovely, lovely little part of the River Camp and on forms of environment education.
Fantastic. So you literally educate them while they're having fun?
No, of course. Look, education is key, is in conservation. If people don't know what there is to conserve, how are they going to know to conserve it? So with the kids, to start them from the young age, to work to talk about the rhinos, to talk about protecting of the animals, and the importance of biodiversity and why we need to have these game reserves in these areas. And this is a biodiversity mecca. And to be able to protect the biodiversity, ranging from the smallest little rare antelope like a blue duiker, to rare plants that we're able to find on the reserve, succulents that you can't find anywhere else in the world, which are only found on the reserve. So these are unique little parts, and all of this needs to be protected. And in order to protect it, we need to educate the children to get us through this.
Absolutely, because what you don't know, you won't care about. If you don't care about it and love it, you're not going to protect it, right?
Of course.
know, you won't care about. If you don't care about it and love it, you're not going to protect it, right?
Of course.
Now tell me, the forest camp, the bush lodge, just elaborate a little bit on that as well.
So forest camp, that's our adults camp, and we don't allow anyone under the age of 12 there. So the big focus there is, this is the area for children, that is the area for adults where you get to escape a little bit. It is one of our larger lodges. It does sleep 20 guests. Now, I'm saying larger lodges, it only sleeps 20 guests. Yes. So obviously our focus here at Sibuya is really, really hands-on with those guests. It's that personal relationship. We actually know the guests by name, and they become part of the family. They've joined you for a few nights at the lodge. And forest camp, like the name says, is based in this beautiful riverine forest that runs on the side of the river. And we'll hopefully see some footage of that, the winding pathways through the forest lodge, and the biodiversity in there as well, ranging from tree orchids all the way through to, as mentioned earlier, the blue duiker, which there's a pair of them around in the lodge, which you generally don't get to see anywhere else.
Amazing.
And then Bush Lodge, which we started off with this morning with a beautiful drive where we actually got to see the lions before we even got to the lodge, which is a little bit of a bonus.
Totally epic.
Definitely.
Totally epic.
And then to get to Bush Lodge, which is a beautiful exclusive lodge set up on the hillside overlooking a forest. And it brings in different aspects, and that's the lovely thatched lodge of feel that comes through it, the luxuries that come through it, the viewing decks, the swimming pool, because obviously here you can swim in the river, and up there you've got the swimming pool, so each bringing in their own activities. Bush Lodge also has lovely walks and hiking trails, so although it's within the reserve, there's a nice section that's in the safe zone where you're able to go and do these beautiful forest walks that you wouldn't be able to experience otherwise, and just to bring in the whole experience and everything about Sibuya. So it is just a lovely, unique reserve and a lodge to add to it.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned also the biodiversity. I just want to for a moment speak about the biodiversity, because we've been chatting about that you've got basically 5 different biomes here. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that?
So Sibuya is lucky enough to be in the Eastern Cape, which is an ecotone for all the different biomes to join together. We've got a small little section of fynbos up at the top of the reserve. We've got the Albany thickets. We've got the acacia savannas that come through. We've got coastal forests and the riverine vegetation. So all of this bringing in so many different biodiversity biomes, and with that comes different bird species, different mammal species, flowers that come through. Just under 400 bird species are found in just our little area here around the reserve, ranging from some of the beautiful ones that people go all over the world to come find, your Narina trogons that fly around the lodges, which is something unique. We have 7 different species of kingfisher found on the reserve, ranging from the mangrove kingfisher, which is a rare one, the African pygmy kingfisher, all the way through to the largest, which is a giant kingfisher. Wow. So the bird diversity is fantastic. And then the plants. Over 170 species of trees have been identified on the reserve, with thousands of flowering plants. Wow. So it just brings in, and each obviously those plants has a relationship with a bird, an insect, or an animal.
Absolutely, because it all works together.
No, definitely. So every little part has its part to play, from the elephant all the way to a little hawk moth that pollinates only one flower. It is all linked and has its place here in nature.
Absolutely amazing. Now, we also touched on the guest experience and how Sibuya is specifically set up for that intimate, connected experience. So can you just elaborate a little bit on that? There's no self-drives, obviously. It's all guided. So just tell me a little bit about that.
So you are correct. All of our game drives are guided. The boat cruise is guided. So you've got experienced guides that have been in the bush for years and are going to be the catalyst for the guest between the environment and the guest, and bring it all together and make sense of what they're seeing. Because if you're driving past these animals and these birds and you don't know the behavior and the links that these animals have, it's lost. And that's where the ranger comes into play, and being able to teach the guests and to inform the guests that there are, of course we've got the big 5, but there's so much more out there. There's over 40 other species of mammal on the reserve to talk about, not just the big 5. Of course the focus is going to be on the big 5. That's what a lot of people want to see. But the ranger will bring in all the other aspects, will bring the trees, will bring the plants, and give them that full rounded experience. And the more people know, as we mentioned earlier, the more they are willing to conserve and protect.
Absolutely, that is so true. Now, talking about conserving, protecting, and community, obviously you guys also have a community thing going on here, the training of the rangers. Can you just tell me a little bit about that as well?
So we do take student rangers that come through from different training providers, and we bring them onto the reserve. We give them the opportunity to gain experience and gain knowledge. And a lot of times it's a 6-month period that will come through, and they work on the reserve, and they'll work with our guides, and they're able to then gain that experience and that knowledge. And through that, we've created some amazing guides, and some of them have gone very, very far. We've got some head rangers out there through the people that we've trained here on the reserve.
Well
so
done.
It is a great feat, and it is a lovely learning experience because it's such a unique habitat. They have to learn so much, and that does give them such a wide portfolio to deal with. They're going to be able to guide from boats, they're going to be able to guide from a vehicle, they're going to be able to guide on bushwalks, and all of this will then add to their ability. So these young guys that then come through these training providers, it does allow them that foot in the door. Because we all know everyone wants the job, but what experience do you have?
Absolutely.
And we believe giving people that chance, giving them that foot in the door is key.
You are so right. And once again, it's also about giving back, because part of conservation, the conservation community, is about giving back, right?
No, definitely. So we do work with the community, and we are very proud of being part of Kenton on Sea. And one of my favorite projects to run is a river cleanup. And we do communicate with the local schools in Ekopomleni or Klipfontein, the local areas, and we get the school children to come through and assist us in cleaning the river via educating them. A lot of these kids never had the chance to ever be on a boat, and you get to take them on a boat and up this beautiful estuary, because if we don't show them, they're not going to want to look after it. They're not going to know what's going on. So we've got to show them what beauties we have around us and give them the opportunity. And a lot of them then see what's going on and aspire to become a ranger, to be able to work out on a game reserve and in this environment.
That is fantastic. You know, it's just lovely to be able to pay that legacy forward, you know, because for me, as a fellow conservationist, that is so important to engage your community, you know, and to give back. So Chris, we spoke about the big five, and as you know, rhino conservation is something that's specifically close to my heart. I'm a little bit more than obsessed about it. Just tell me a little bit about your rhino conservation efforts and, you know, how you're protecting these amazing, fantastic animals.
So as Sibuya, we kind of want to be a home for rhinos, and we do have our own anti-poaching unit and our anti-poaching foundation, Sibuya Rhino Foundation, where we do raise funds to protect rhinos. And in 2016, we were hit with a massive blow, as a lot of the reserves have in the area, and we lost 3 rhinos through that. In the process, 2 of the rhinos were females that both had babies, and they were orphaned, and they went through to an orphanage. And while there, they actually partnered up with other rhinos.
Oh, wow.
And we decided that we actually wanted to keep these rhinos together. They've been really traumatic for these poor animals, and now they've suddenly made a friend. You don't want to split them from their friend. So we've actually brought in 2 orphans, and those are the orphans that we've seen today, which was Binky and Noel. Noel was born just after Christmas.
Oh.
So she was one of the youngest of the rhinos, at just over 2.5 months when she was orphaned, which is absolutely terrible.
Very young.
But through this and through the drive, we've been able to relocate 4 orphaned rhinos through the process, both on Sibuya and on other game reserves, working together with Shamwari. And it is a big conservation, and they do need to be conserved and they do need to be protected. And as you mentioned, they're very, very close to your heart, and I think they should be close to everyone's heart, because we are the last people that are going to be able to see them unless we do something soon.
Absolutely, I totally agree. You know, as we say, poaching steals from all of us, and rhino protection is all our responsibility.
No, it definitely is. And once again, we've touched on it once or twice already. It starts with education.
Yes.
And it starts with the little children. Get them to care about the rhinos, get them to understand about the rhinos. And I promise you, if their father or their mum's not taking care of the rhinos, they'll make sure they are. And they'll tell them so.
Absolutely. So, Chris, thank you so much for hosting us. It was amazing. We look forward to seeing the rest of the reserve, and it's just absolutely gorgeous out here.
Absolute pleasure. It was lovely having you here, and I hope you enjoyed yourselves. And hopefully, if there's any other questions you have along the way, we can answer it or show you while we're out on the reserve. We're always happy to engage with anyone and to contact us through the reserve, as we've got many different packages for guests, ranging from day trips to in-house stays, and even things of just a basic boat cruise up the river. So there are a lot of different activities available for the guests, ranging from South Africans all the way through to the foreigners overseas.
Fantastic, and we love that you cater for South Africans as well. So guys, there you have it. You need to come and see this place. This is special, absolutely special. And with your very experienced rangers and guides, you are just about guaranteed to see everything. It is amazing. Well guys, our time here at Sibuya has come to an end. We've done it all, from exploring Sibuya in an open safari vehicle, to discovering the luxurious bush lodge, having snacks under the lapa with views for days, going to the lookout point high above the Kariga River whilst enjoying the view over a cold beverage, to hopping on the boat and exploring the beautiful, stunning Kariga River and marveling at the rhinos grazing on the riverbank, and loving the forest and the river camps, to visiting the beautiful day camp. Sibuya is truly a special and magical place, and I would really advise each and every one of you to visit this little piece of heaven halfway between Port Elizabeth and East London. But for now, we're going to hop back on the boat and go back to the little coastal town of Kenton so that we can go and visit Stanley's. at the most awesome place called Stanley's just outside Kenton-on-Sea, and I've got Rodney here, who is the owner of Stanley. Rodney, thanks for having us tonight.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's good to see you guys, and I hope you enjoy yourselves, and I hope you're having a good time in the Eastern Cape.
Always.
lekker,
We
man.
love the Eastern Cape, best place in the world. Now, you are Rodney, right?
Yeah.
And your son is Christopher.
That's the one.
So I'm a bit confused.
Okay.
Who's Stanley?
Okay. Going back in history, I've been coming here for over 40 years, and this was a friend of ours, Stan Butt, who owned the house and built the house. Stanley Butt, so we called it when he passed away and went on to the better hunting grounds. We found this our building here, and it was derelict, and we fixed it up a bit. And I think to keep it in the family, and like his family, we called it Stanley's. So I think that's quite nice for the family, and Stanley's history goes on. And the Butts are very famous in this area.
Okay.
His great-grandfather rescued the people of the Volo when the boat sank here in the 1800s.
Oh my gosh.
And got a medal from Queen Victoria. And we'll show you later, if you take a look down there on the floor, there's the signal cannon of the Volo, which is there on the floor there.
Yes.
And then that's how, this was their original farm. And this is the last piece of the original farm that is left, that's in the back name as well.
Oh,
Still in the back family.
okay.
So Stanley's was appropriate.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now tell me, obviously this is a pub and restaurant,
Yes.
so what would you say is kind of your signature dishes or dish here at Stanley's?
You know, it's so difficult to say. Our steaks are exceptionally good. Our fish is fresh from the sea. If it's not fresh from the sea, it's frozen by ourselves. It's caught in the morning. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's frozen, vacuum packed and frozen.
Oh wow.
So it stays fresh for a couple of weeks, so it's perfect like that. Calamari is very popular, and our hamburgers are always our signature. So yeah, but it's a bit of everything.
Yes,
It's not just one thing. Maybe it's a bit too much. We've got vegan, and we've got vegetarian, and well, maybe
interesting.
I don't know what we've got. It's a lot of stuff.
So you literally cater for everybody, there's something here for everybody.
Everybody, yeah. Even kids. We've got kiddies burgers, kiddies
Fantastic.
horses, and
Yes,
fish fries.
yes.
That's fine.
Awesome. And tell me about your famous Sunday lunches.
Yeah, that took off by mistake. It was actually a Sunday lunch for ourselves, my wife and my kids. And then we got, actually the people who were here tonight, Pierre and Robert and them, they came in and decided, no, they wanted some lunch. So I said, well, we haven't got any lunch. She said, but what's that, leg of pork and all the roast potatoes? So I said, all right, you eat it. Have that, and then we're going to cook ourselves some more lunch with you, bugger. So when you buzzed off. So that's how it started. And the next week there weren't 4 of them, there were like 7 of them.
Oh my
And
word.
that's how it sort of progressed from there. So that's how it started.
And now you've got a whole restaurant full of people on Sunday.
Yeah, that's how it goes. So that was,
Fantastic.
I think we've been open about, it was April. We opened December and April, we had the lunch. And then after that, after that Sunday, it just came on going.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Oh, it's been good.
And you guys also have absolute most killer view here.
We've got a lovely view down the river, and you can actually see the sea in the distance. And the views, especially in the evening when the sun's going down, it lights up the
yes.
hills on the other side.
Gorgeous.
Stunning. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you get a full moon on the river, it's unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Bright yellow shining up here. It's stunning.
Beautiful,
You
beautiful.
never see the sunset though. You see the sunrise,
Yes.
but you moet vroeg wees in die oggend because people that sleep late are not going to get it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
If you want to sleep late, you miss out. And
Go and watch the sunset.
absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
it's anyway.
Yeah, well, mind you, that might not be such a bad idea with sundowners, hey?
No, we've got another little pub at the back called Chalkies, which you can sit on the deck and actually see the trees, and there's impala and bushbuck
Yes.
walking around the garden.
Brilliant.
Sometimes there's cows as well. But you can sit there and you've got a beautiful view of the sunset. And,
Oh, stunning,
yeah, it's
stunning.
lovely. Yeah.
Fantastic. And tell me, you guys also have a little camping ground here?
Yeah, we've got
Tell
a
me little
camping
bit about
ground,
that.
we've got the venue as well, but we're using now that as a pub and Chalkies. But
Yes.
if push comes to shove, we do weddings.
Okay,
And we've got accommodation, a couple of huts where we
Yes.
can sleep in, and caravans and camping. And there's
fantastic.
ablution blocks, showers and
Yes,
toilets and all
yes.
that stuff.
Brilliant.
It's quite lekker.
Absolutely fantastic.
It's priced for the people that don't have a kind of 500-600 rand a night per person.
Yes.
So you can come in and get quite a good night's sleep you want to buy a bit more, you've got to get blankets and pillows. You can supply that.
Yes,
So
yes.
that all comes, but it's a little bit extra.
Okay. Oh, so people can actually bring their own bedding.
They bring their own bedding, their own
Okay.
love for the place there, they can
Yes.
put it a lot. But if they arrive suddenly and they haven't got bedding, we do have bedding and duvets and pillows and all that.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
And towels and
Yes.
biscuits. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
So they can enjoy this.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to having a meal
It's
here.
going to be lucky. Yeah, I'm going to hope you enjoy it.
Oh,
Try not
I'm
to
sure
choke
we
you.
will. I know. Let me tell you, I've had something to eat here before, and the food is divine. It's really good.
Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, Rodney,
Yeah,
thank you so
and
much
we're
for
looking
having
forward
us.
to seeing you when you do the views and that. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, then I should say that.
absolutely.
But you can edit it out.
Indeed.
Okay. Lekker, thanks. Yeah. it's
Thank
good.
you so much.
Thank you.
So, guys, we are going to go and have some supper and have a drink at the bar. So, come join us.
Yeah. And try and sneak in a picture of the bar too. With all those dronkies in. Thank you.
Thanks, Rodney. Welcome back, guys. It is early Sunday afternoon in Kenton on Sea, and we're back at Stanley's for their almost world-famous Sunday lunch. And after the delicious burgers that we had the other night, I know it's going to be simply scrumptious. The view that awaits you once you are on the deck is insane. You can literally see all the way up the Kariga River and catch a glimpse of the little coastal village of Kenton, as well as the beach and the ocean. And today is a particularly beautiful and clear day with views for days. Now, I must admit, I am very, very partial to this part of the world. As a child, we used to camp here on the Bushman side of the river. Every single weekend that was free, every Easter holiday, and every single December holiday. So yes, I really love this part of the world. Stanley's is also a bit of an institution here in Kenton, and one can easily see why. With alfresco dining on the deck and views to die for, coupled with excellent friendly service, delicious food, and an authentic bush pub vibe, you cannot but fall in love with this place. Soon after we arrived, the super friendly and efficient staff started serving the three-course lunch. On Sundays, Stanley's only offer their famous Sunday lunch set menu, and they also change it up from time to time. Today it starts off with delicious homemade soups. Diners have two options to choose from, and it is served with fresh bread. Now, with hungry diners filling up the deck, one would assume that chaos would break out, but the well-oiled Stanley serving machine just keeps going, and they tend to your every need with a friendly smile and with no stress. It's such an awesome thing to see and experience. Everywhere you look, there's happy customers chatting, smiling, eating and drinking. Stanley's is a family-run restaurant, venue and campsite with Rodney, the dad, heading up the bar and the customer satisfaction with many stories to entertain you with. Dorothy, the mom, running the kitchen splendidly, and Chris, Rodney and Dorothy's son, managing the front of house operations and functions. This little gem of a place is very family friendly with an amazing vibe and atmosphere. It is truly unique in every aspect, and the decor is quaint and quirky with many stories attached to it. I can honestly say that Stanley's is one of my favorite restaurants in the entire Eastern Cape, and I've never had a disappointing meal or experience here. Right, back to the Sunday lunch. No sooner are the soup bowls cleared off the tables when the generous and super delicious plated lunch comes out. Lunch consists of a huge roast, complete with rice and gravy, 2 veg and roasted potatoes. Delicious. It is just beautifully done, good and wholesome home cooking, presented beautifully, and I can vouch for the amazing flavors, guys. The portions are super generous and truly value for money in a big way. You will never leave Stanley's hungry, that's for sure. And just to make extra certain that you don't leave hungry, the seconds are brought out and circulated amongst patrons who can help themselves to more of the delicious food before desserts are served. Oh my gosh, and then it happens. Trays and trays of gorgeous, yummy, decadent desserts. Anything your heart can possibly desire. From cheesecake to chocolate cake, creme brulees to chocolate mousse, eclairs to malva puddings. The list goes on and on. Just take a look for yourself. Again, the portions are more than generous. Everything is homemade, fresh and decadently delicious. And the well-oiled Stanley serving machine just keeps those desserts coming. And if you wish, you can have freshly brewed filter coffee with your dessert, or simply order another cold one from the bar. Meanwhile, outside on the deck, the chit-chat of happy patrons continue. The birds are singing, the sun is shining, the stunning Kariga River is more beautiful than ever, and even a few butterflies decided to come frolicking around in the gorgeous garden surrounding Stanley's. It is amazing how after the last hour and a half of lunch chaos, all of a sudden, after desserts are had, the patrons all seem to disappear quite quickly. One can only assume it is to go and have a nap after this fabulous Sunday lunch. As for us though, we are going to explore the camping grounds and the wedding and function venue called Chalkies. The camping ground is literally within walking distance from the restaurant on the same farm. There are numerous little chalets that each sleeps 2 people with shared ablution facilities, and yes, they have hot showers. What a blessing. There's also a huge boma with an equally huge fire pit and benches for seating. I can only imagine that many a beer have been had and many a story told inside this boma, if only these trees could talk. There are also campsites for tents and caravans, and the views from here are insane, guys. I swear on a clear day you will probably see Grahamstown. Okay, maybe not quite that far, but seriously, these views are amazing. And then there's the Chalkies venue with its row of aloes leading you into the venue. This venue is actually huge and beautifully breezy and can probably comfortably seat 150 people for a wedding or a function. It's got a huge deck outside where you can have your wedding ceremony with the cutest gazebo under which the happy couple can say their vows. It also sports a very unique and quirky feature. It's not called Chalkies for nothing, guys. You can write on most of the surfaces with colored chalk. What awesome fun! And of course, I could not resist and had to try my hand at writing on one of the tables. When in Rome, you do as the Romans, right? So I wrote Stanley's a little love note, seeing that Chalkies is also a wedding venue and we wish for many couples to come and tie the knot here. The beauty is that you and your guests can book out the entire campsite, which means that you have 100% privacy. You can have roaring bonfires in the boma or in the braai area on the huge deck at Chalkies. After tying the knot, you can party in absolute seclusion without having to worry about noise or curfews as you are on private property. Bottom line is, guys, Stanley's and Chalkies is unique in every sense. The charm and character you experience here you won't find anywhere else. So do yourself a favor and visit this cute and quaint but awesome place. We've showed you the 5-star luxury experience with Sibuya, and now we've showed you glamping on a budget. You can choose whichever one you prefer, but whatever your choice, you cannot go wrong as both places are equally unique and beautiful. And I will check in with you guys next week for our final leg of our Eastern Cape tour when we visit the amazing and luxurious Mantis Founders Lodge,